Okay, so this is part 2. Proverbs 4:5, the Amplified Bible. It says, get skillful and godly wisdom. Now let's stop there for a second. A lot of you don't understand this. You don't for the life you understand that your professors and your mentors and your parents are like complete fucking idiots compared to me, the top martial artist ever. Why? Because the word skill, okay, is the word kills scrambled. So those people who were academics and scribes and the who's who of the ancient world who made the wordplay what it is on behalf of the governing class, they were contracted with making the wordplay, okay? The old, the Latin rooted, the Romans language, into the Old English, into modern English, okay? They knew that the most skilled people were the Royal African Falcon martial arts. Why? Because Romans were well aware of Egypt. They weren't that far away from Egypt, and at one point they colonized Egypt. So the word skills is like the word kills, and the word talon is like the word talent, and the word diving is like the word divine. Now why? Because it was a universal order they had in Egypt, right? So it was the falcon, right? The faster and master, and it dove, right? It dives. In fact, the word dove is like the word dive. And the Spirit is said to come upon Jesus in a dove. But obviously, you've got to judge correctly. Is a senseless dove, like a rock dove, it's like a pigeon, superior to the falcon? No. God set apart the falcon as the ideal animal because it flies closest to the sun. It's the master hunter because faster and master are connected, and so on and so forth. So, part of the reason why they changed my voice to try to make it so I sound corny, because they're fucking idiots compared to me. No offense to anybody, it's just the facts. You can imagine it would piss you off too. People are changing your voice and fuming you and harassing you like weird frat boys, like crazed people in the military who haze people. Okay? Some cases, law enforcement. Okay? They sunk to the level of being immature and persecuting the most righteous guy ever. And then you get the word harass, right? The word har is another word for Horus. There's har, hor, haru, Horus. These are various ways to say Horus, who is more often than not superimposed on the Royal African Falcon top martial arts order, except for perhaps in the pre-dynastic period and the first dynasty of Egypt. Okay, so they say harass, right? And it also has to do with harass. Because, when you look at how the ideal person is shaped, right? He's tall, he's agile, boom. He's more agile than Michael Jordan, more dexterity, with distance considered than Bruce Lee, more precise striking than the Shaolin monk, and so on and so forth, okay? And they say, okay, well, the females that look like him, they're hot, right? They have the long, sexy legs, and they have, the various assets and their body parts and so on and so forth. So they wanted to whore them. A bunch of pirates ran around the world, and they said, look at that ass, especially, now pay close attention. It's not so much that they like black women. It's they like to mix black women in their sex cults and create other women. There's Filipinas and Thailand and Brazil and Puerto Rico and on and on and on. That's where you get a certain kind of stripper-like shape, okay? That's why the word Horus is a play on words for whore, us. And it is astounding that females play into the hands of not only scum who planned this, but scum who come from a long line of people that planned it and executed and never learned from their mistake. They're like devolving instead of evolving. They never stop doing it because they're fucking idiots. Give them a PhD at Harvard, they're still contributing to it. They could put a man on the moon, but they can't correct that mistake. They have useless worldly knowledge and not the profound moral wisdom from God that is being talked about in Proverbs 4:5 and 8:12. It says, get skillful and godly wisdom, acquire understanding, actively seek spiritual discernment, mature comprehension, and logical interpretation. Well, now look at the nerds, how they depicted themselves. Remember, nerds run society. Hollywood people are nerds and they're in social clubs. So why would they give themselves an unfavorable depiction? They're just depicting themselves as they see it. They're depicted in cartoons, in movies, Revenge of the Nerds, what have you. And they define themselves as worthless and foolish and contemptible in their dictionary definitions and boringly studious. Okay? Because they're not mature. They're not moving through life masterfully and in a skillful and wise manner. For all intents and purposes, no offense to anybody, but nerds are basically fucking idiots. Okay? Without a speck of sense, without a speck of style. Let me give you an example. No offense to autistic people, it's rather unfortunate, you know, they should do more to help them and so on and so forth. Many autistic people don't have very much sense. But there's some things that they're known for doing effectively, like spotting error in code in a way that's better than people who aren't autistic. Hell, a beaver can build a fucking dam, but it's not the smartest of the animals. He's not a monkey. He's not a dolphin. It's just a fucking beaver. So people don't understand that there's a difference between being book smart and being wise. They don't understand that there's a difference between following somebody who, you know, is part of a psychological construct that made it so that you're inclined to follow them because they've been training your unconscious mind and your subconscious, you know, in various ways with symbols, with various psychological techniques that they've refined over many years. There's a difference between following the crowd because you're a lemming who can't transcend your subconscious mind and your inclinations, proclivities, and tendencies, and following the skillful and wise leader who by default is going to be persecuted. So when they change my voice and make it so I sound weird, I still make the videos. Why? Because that's exactly what the person who's seeking the kingdom of heaven expects to see. The most righteous person ever is not going to go with the crowd of buffoons, of think tank fools, of rich oppressors. He's going to stand on his own 10 toes and demand that people rally to him. He's not going to follow mentors. He's not going to get plugged in the butt like a choir boy in church. He's going to insist on moral precision, not mere human conceptions of intelligence or what's the smart thing to do. He's going to transcend that and go above and beyond. Like it says in Proverbs 8:12, I, wisdom, live together with good judgment. I know where to discover knowledge and discernment, true divine knowledge. We see in Proverbs 13:15, good judgment wins good judgment wins favor, but the way of the unfaithful leads to their destruction. So if you have good judgment, the righteous man of God is going to say, good job. But if you're unfaithful and you present yourself as the valid fucking leader, like a bunch of nerds and social club fools, then the righteous man is going to say, yes, God is right to put them into the lake of fire, and I'm going to personally see forever that that's where they go and that's where they stay. Their judgment is so bad that they've crossed me, the most righteous man ever, the most fair person, the person who came from above to this planet, spiritually speaking, to teach them what's right, even though I'm going to be persecuted. They persecuted me to the point where they're going to the lake of fire, and you people have yoked yourself to them. You have accepted being, you're attached at the hips, so to speak. You handcuffed yourself to them, and you're being dragged down with them. So I'm going to end with the Proverbs 8:12. I, wisdom, live together with good judgment. Good judgment. Not evil conformist nonsense. Oh, excuse me, that was the Amplified Bible. I, godly wisdom, reside with prudence, good judgment, moral courage, and astute common sense. And I find knowledge and discretion. So the person who's wise in a godly manner that's far greater than a human manner, okay, is not going to be in some fairy trance. They're going to actually prove it with these principles that are universally true, like prudence, good judgment, moral courage, and astute common sense. It's like me. Every day they fume me and they persecute me and they covertly provoke me and try to make it so I seem crazy, even though I'm talking far more sense than anybody else on the planet by far. And I know that they're going to play stupid about that, but I keep going out into public and telling the truth and making these videos because that's good judgment. That's moral courage. That's an astute common sense. That's a sharp, penetrating, piercing common sense. Thank you.